Today we're going back to the year 2000. Simpler times. Gas wasn't almost $5 a gallon. Well, almost $4 a gallon, depending on where you live. So, we're going back to that time when wrestling was at its peak. The World Wrestling Federation was dominating pop culture, and one game changed everything on the PlayStation 1. Coming off the Nintendo 64 with the acclaim and all that, we got WWF SmackDown. So, the WWF SmackDown, it was developed by Yuke and published by THQ. It hit PlayStation in March of 2000, and it was a massive shift from the slower arcade-style wrestling games that came before, like WWF, WrestleMania, Arcade, and stuff like that. So, it was not clunky and didn't have a, you know, this game gave players speed, chaos, and attitude. Going into the gameplay and whatnot, the gameplay is, right away, the biggest difference is the pacing. Matches in SmackDown are fast. We're talking punches, flying finishers happening early, and matches that feel like TV than simulation. Well, not really, because if you take a look at WWE 2K26, that's about as close to um, that's as close to real you're going to get WWE 26. Um, on WWF SmackDown, you the the controls are a little different, and whenever you try to reverse the stuff, sometimes it doesn't work as well as you want it to. But other than that, it's pretty good for for the year and whatnot. Back in the day, when you pop this game into your PlayStation, it was like, whoa, this game is awesome. And when you're, it's just a over the top good time with that. So one of the biggest highlights in this game is season mode. Instead of just playing random matches, you actually live through a WWF storyline, complete with title chases, rivalries, and some pretty wild, unpredictable moments. Sometimes it made sense. Sometimes, absolutely, you had no idea what was going on. One minute you'd be feuding with The Rock or Triple H. Next minute you're feuding with Goldust because his hair is not the way that he wanted it that day. But going on, the chaos was part of the charm. You got into the game, you got immersed into what was going on. Everything was just amazing. It was just you spent countless hours on it and whatnot. And if you're going into creator wrestler mode, the creator wrestler mode nowadays standards, it's basic, but back then this was huge. It was a big deal back then. You can make your own superstars, give them moves, and throw them into the madness. And yeah, we all try to recreate ourselves or some overpowered monsters. I'm gonna put Vader in there, man. And some of the funny moments and quirks and stuff on this. Of course, it wasn't perfect. The physics could get weird. Characters would slide around. Animations would clip, and sometimes things just broke. But honestly, that's part of what made it fun. This is one of those games where the jank adds to the experience. The more janky, the better the game. In my experience, anyway. The impact it had on me playing it when I was younger, uh, it started a legacy. It led directly to WWF SmackDown 2 and eventually to SmackDown versus Raw series that I enjoyed so much when I was a kid. It was an amazing, amazing time whenever you get from WWF SmackDown, then you go to SmackDown versus Raw, and now to today's games. Today's games can't even hold a candle to how much fun you would have during those times. But on another, sometimes that you look back and whatnot on the games that you played, and you wonder which games that got you hooked on that genre. I always like to look back at WWF SmackDown. WWF SmackDown, Know Your Role. WWF SmackDown, Just Bring It. WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, all the way up to SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. That's where I got hooked on my wrestling games. I did play a little bit of WrestleMania 2000 and WWF No Mercy whenever it was on the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64, that was fun stuff. That was just a fun time altogether. You had Glover, fun game. You had Mario 64. You had Yoshi's Island. You had all these games. I know Nintendo 64 was just made for kids, but as we're closing this out, I just want to say this is WWF SmackDown. This is the game that a lot of people started out with, and I just want to say I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Well, hold on. Got a question. Did you play WWF SmackDown back in the day? Who did you pick to play with in each match? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Shine this up real nice, jabroni.
And I know just where to stick it, Rod.
What's your name?
It doesn't matter what my name is.
The Rock smells what you're cooking.
Pancakes, Rod! Pancakes!
Lay the smackdown in the kitchen, the loading dock, even the boiler room. Plus storylines and special guest referees. Everything inside the ring and almost anything out. WWF SmackDown. Lay it down, jabroni.
Finally, The Rock has come back to PlayStation.